All right, hopefully you guys can see me right with this, doing the old car setup just before I go into the gym. So I've got a little pre-workout snack here. I've got two of these. So we've got the YoPro yogurts. Just get a little bit of protein in before we go in, a little bit of carbs as well. With a banana, just get some food in the stomach. I'm going to be pretty well fueled from yesterday. Yesterday was a high day, so I think it was 425 grams of carbohydrates. So there's going to be a little bit of glycogen readily available to use for today's session. But just want to make sure, have something in the stomach. Usually I'd have a protein shake if I'm doing early morning coaching or anything like that. But there is a little bit of research to show that you probably want something in your stomach. It's probably a little bit better than having liquid. So that is something to take into account. Now I just think yogurt just sits in the stomach and makes you feel like you've actually eaten something. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to going into a session or like fueling yourself for a session, is just making sure that you're not hungry. That's probably the biggest thing, and probably the biggest takeaway that they're kind of seeing from the research looking at fueling yourself for workouts is that you definitely don't want to go into the workout hungry. Coffee, that is my pre-workout of choice. I've never really been into pre-workouts. Nothing against them. I just really like my coffee. I love coffee. I've got an espresso at home. I play around with all the different flavors. So I would just, prefer to get my caffeine from coffee instead of a pre-workout. And then I just got just some water, chucked a little bit of salt in there, help with the session. If I feel a bit flat, because it is a longer session today, it's a pull session where I'm hitting some triceps and delts as well. So it'll probably be about an hour and a half session. If I start to fatigue off a little bit, I might grab a Gatorade and maybe have half a Gatorade towards the end of the session. I found that myself doing that in some of these longer sessions that I'm doing, especially for upper body, as upper body is a massive priority for me being a men's physique athlete. So I'm trying to make sure that these sessions as best as possible. It's probably been my main focus for this prep, is just trying to optimize my workouts as much as possible. That's something I learned from my last prep, is that I could have been better with my workouts, preparation, the intensity I went for it. I think that I definitely learned a lot from last prep in the way of how intense I want to be with my sessions as well. I've definitely grown a lot more confidence in hitting it harder since my last prep and going through this long off season. So all in all, I feel like performance is being really, really good. It's staying up there. I've even hit like a couple of lifetime PRs through this. Probably, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago for RDLs and also bench, which is amazing. All in all, very happy. This is just a long-winded way of giving you guys my pre-workout snack. That's sort of like the mindset of why I'm fueling these workouts and my priorities for this time around with prep. So I'll try and chop up some stuff from this session depending on how busy the gym is, and if not, I'll see you at the next meal.
All right, guys, so we're home for meal 2. Obviously just finished up at the gym. I've got to be honest, didn't record any content while I was there. Feel like I'm very rushed in that session because I got to get home and give the car to my fiance who needs it for work. So I need to kind of rush through it. So I didn't get much set up. But for meal 2, guys, we're going to go with an omelette. Okay, so an egg white omelette. I do actually have 2 egg yolks in there, but obviously predominantly egg whites. With that, chucking in some onion, chucking in some mushrooms, chucking in some spinach as well. Just give a bit of food volume, also keep some micronutrients up. I pretty much don't have any meals without some type of salad or fruit or something where I can give it a bit more food volume. Plus, obviously good for micronutrients. I'll be having some English muffins. If you guys want any toast or bagel-y type treat, muffin, whatever, English muffins are great. Bagels are super, super high in calories. I love bagels, but just way too many calories to be in a fat loss phase. So 2 of these is, I think, 234 calories or something like that, I want to say. I'll put the breakdown of this on the screen. It's pretty decent. I get the Wholemeal ones as well. This is actually not wholemeal, but generally when I do generally get the wholemeal ones. I feel like it keeps me a little bit fuller. It's a good source of fiber as well. So definitely have that a fair bit. Yeah, so if you're someone who enjoys a little bit of toast, especially during this winter time and stuff like that, I feel like there's nothing better there than, I don't know, some jam on toast or something like that. So that is a good way to still enjoy that sort of like toasty, bready type of vibe without going crazy on the calories. As I said, I love bagels, but there's like 360 calories for just one bagel, and it's just ain't gonna happen. Egg whites, these egg whites I'm using. I don't think it really matters what egg whites you get, just if you can get them. We're in like a shortage in Australia at the moment, so wherever you can get your egg whites, get your egg whites. And then obviously I got the eggs as well. With this, I'm going to be chucking back a batch of coffee. If you've ever had the opportunity to taste one of these, they taste fantastic. They are a bit on the more expensive side. Actually, I only have one of these a week. Sometimes I have it on Sunday as well. So today is Thursday, where I got to work from home. So I'm able to actually make my breakfast this morning. Usually, like, I'm kind of a bit more on the go. So I'm going to enjoy a batch of coffee. I'm going to go with the sweet Mexico flavor today. So it's a nice little treat. ChatGPT says it's only 1 calorie, so I'll take it. Hopefully ChatGPT is right. But yeah, I'm going to chop all these up, get stuck into it, and I'll give you the review on the taste. If you don't have one of these, would definitely recommend going out and get one. You can also use the spray can as well that you can just like get from any sort of supermarket. But very, very good this, because you can kind of like change the oil and stuff that you want. Spray makes it so much easier to obviously cover the pan. So you can have like the non-stick factor and have your oil that you need to be able to cook, but without all the extra calories. So if I was to pour this out, I would accumulate so many more calories in my omelette as opposed to just spraying it. So a couple of sprays is like, I don't know, 0.2 grams or something like that. I measured it out. I have it all tucked away in my fitness pal for this meal. I've already made a meal for this. So yeah, if you aren't using spray oil already, would highly recommend using spray oil. You're just going to save so many calories, and it's such an easy win because you don't even really know, you can't even taste the difference really. As long as you've got some sort of oil in there, it doesn't matter whether it's like a tablespoon or a teaspoon or a couple of sprays of that. But a couple of sprays of that is going to be like 100 calories less than a tablespoon of it. So easy, easy win. So I actually don't weigh out any of my veggies. I just know that this is 500 grams of mushrooms. This is 300 grams of spinach. And then I usually use half an onion. What I do is I just split that into 3. So these will make 3 omelettes. So I'll just divide this by 3, divide this by 3. There might be some more spinach in one omelette than the other. As long as this ingredients makes 3 omelettes, it's kind of going to work out and average out as it is. Not super high cal. I don't do this with other things like avocados. I weigh out. I don't think you have to get too crazy with weighing everything. Think of it more of a consistency factor. So as I said, some omelettes might have more mushrooms, some might have less. But at the end of the day, I'm going to eat 500 grams of mushrooms across the week. It's all going to average out, same amount of calories. So I think there's some things that potentially need to be more stressed out. So things like oil, things like peanut butter, all those things that we know are very calorie dense. But I think things like this, you can easily just say, yeah, across the week, I'm going to eat 500 grams of mushrooms and just make sure it's accounted for within your fitness pal, and you'll be perfectly fine. So this is the batcher. Rip that off, and then you chuck that on the top. It's like a little tea. It actually tastes really, really good. If you have any relative going to Singapore, Dubai, I think Paris has as well. There's a few ones on the box, but look it up. They're very, very good. Bit of Italian herb and a bit of chili flakes. And here's the finished product, guys. As you can see, it is a decent size. I think that's super important when you're in a fat loss phase, is to try and maximize your food volume as much as possible. So incorporating vegetables whenever you can, as I said, mushroom, spinach on here. Making that smarter choice with the English muffins instead of the bagels can go a long way as well. So you're just trying to make yourself as full as possible whilst obviously keeping calories low. It's going to hit all the macros that I need for this meal to hit. I'll chuck up the nutritional breakdown somewhere on the screen here. But yeah, something that's very important is trying to maximize that food volume in a fat loss phase. You'll also notice, and it kind of seems a little bit weird, but try to make sure that you keep your kitchen nice and clean. Now, it may seem something that is very insignificant, but especially in a fat loss phase, you kind of want to remove that resistance. You don't want to go to the kitchen and have an idea of a meal that you want to cook, and then you've got to wash up 2 or 3 pots and pans, or something's in the dishwasher, or something that is going to give you a little bit of restriction and sort of push you down that path of going, oh, fuck it, I'll just order some food or have something easy out of the cupboard or something like that and get to snacking rather than having an actual proper meal. So trying to make sure that your pots, pans, whatever you cook with, try to make sure your ingredients as well stay on top of your shopping. Just try to make sure that it's all ready to go. So you're kind of removing that resistance that you would find if you weren't otherwise prepped. And it just kind of reduces the chances of you having that fuck it moment and ordering food, as I said, going into the fridge or snacking or whatever the case may be, but trying to stay on track with the meals that you know you should be eating. So really think that's something that I really notice in prep is I'm always trying to prepare for the next thing. I'm trying to make the future Ryan's life a lot easier. So if I just left all the shit here and then I came back for lunch and I had to prep everything, I'd be like, oh fuck, I've got to wash the pan, I've got to do this, and you know what I mean? It all starts to stack up. Whereas if I just do it now, get it done, that way I'm fresh-minded when I come in for lunch. I know, yep, cool, this is ready to go, boom, 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 knock it in and get it done. So yeah, always looking to look after your future self is the takeaway. All right, guys, meal number 3. In this one, we're going to be going with 400 grams of Spud Light potatoes. We're going to be going with 200 grams of chicken, and I'm going to be making up some tomato and cucumber salad. This is a go-to meal of mine. So generally every Sunday, I'll make up some chicken breasts, about 1 kilo, bit over, I think it's 1.2 kilos of chicken breasts. And then I'll also make some Spud Light potatoes in the air fryer, and I'll make some Spud Light potatoes as mash as well. So I'll go through about nearly 3 kilos of Spud Light potatoes. They are life at the moment. If you guys don't know what they are, they're pretty much just reduced carb potatoes. So it just means you're just gonna get less calories. Very, very good. If you're on a fat loss phase, definitely recommend getting in some Spud Light potatoes, but even potatoes just in general are a really good option. I think I've spoken about this before on talking about how chicken, rice, and broccoli is generally the bodybuilding consensus, and that's what you should eat if you want to get shredded. But I would say chicken, potato, and some type of broccoli or some type of veg is definitely a better option. So you can have around 200 grams of potato for about 100 grams of rice for the same amount of calories. They're not very calorie dense at all, so you're gonna get heaps of food volume. So highly, highly recommend introducing some potatoes into your diet. They're so versatile as well. Like, as I said, I've made mash of it. roasted potatoes, air fried potatoes if you have an air fryer, so you can literally make chips. They're just so versatile. You can literally make so many different meals just from potatoes. So I feel like I'm a spokesperson for potatoes at the moment, but it works, you know what I mean? It's going to keep you fuller. As I said, they're super versatile, so you don't really get too bored of them. You can make them many different ways. So yeah, big fan. Apologies if you can hear any banging in the background, just like that. There is some work going on in my building. It's going to be happening all day. Unfortunately, this is the day I chose to do my day on a plate. So we're just going to have to put up with some background noise, unfortunately, guys. Sorry. A little bit short in the potato front. That's right. Take it out of the MyFitnessPal. So I'll whack that in the microwave for about 4 minutes or so. While I'm doing that, then I'll prep the tomato and cucumber salad. And there you go, meal number 3. I want to say this is probably about nearly 900 grams of food, and I'll chuck up the nutritional value, but off the top of head, it's probably about 750 calories. So again, all about food volume. As you can see, the size of this, it's a decent size. So that's all I'm ever trying to do, is just trying to increase that food volume whilst obviously keeping calories low. And as you can see, I've prepped a couple of things. So as I spoke about before, looking after that future self, that literally took me, 6 minutes to make. I had it in the microwave for 4 minutes while I prepped all that stuff, and it's literally ready to go. So the more you can prepare for things, the better your fat loss journey is going to go, just to make sure that whatever curveballs you get thrown in life, you got some food ready to go. You can always stay on task. As long as you can hit your calorie deficit, you're going to have a successful fat loss journey. So yeah, big fan of making sure you're nice and prepared. Take these down if you need a little bit extra garnishing. I'm not one for prettiness or too massive on flavor. Just want to be efficient and get results. All right, guys, we've got our final meal of the day coming in. So as I spoke about before, with some mash. Got some leftover steaks, so I'm just going to chuck that with it. So it's going to be pretty random because I'm also putting some chicken with it as well. But this is what we've got for leftovers. So that is what is happening for today. Let's see how much mash we've got here. A little bit more mash than I expected, but that's all right. Best veggies today. And accompanying that, we're also going to have some avocado as well. So I'm just going to have half an avocado. Pretty much the main source of fats. This avocado, also having dark chocolate, obviously the eggs that you've seen before. That's pretty much the main source of my fats at the moment. Obviously, aside from anything that gets animal sources or a bit of oil and stuff like that. Yeah, we're checking that in, just half an avocado. So I wait for that to heat up. That's all short for today. For the snacks I had an apple and 2 squares of dark chocolate. So there were the other things that I ate that you guys didn't see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Chuck this avocado in and I'm gonna enjoy it. Just pan over, have a look at what Cece's having.
No.
What are you having, babies?
Chicken wings and wedges.
Chicken wings and wedges. See you guys.